Okay, so today we're doing the surface area of cones. So if you ever unfold a cone like we did with the cylinder, you're going to see that we only have one circle this time. That's why there's not a 2 in front of this area formula for a circle. And then we have this weird fan shape is the other part that we have. Okay, that is called the lateral area. And that is the equation to find the lateral area. Now that cursive L, we haven't seen that before. That is the slant height. Okay, the slant height. We'll talk about what that means once we draw our first cone. So a little bit shorter formula than the cylinder one yesterday. So just going to jump right in. Draw our first cone here. So that is 6 inches, and that right there is 6.2 inches. Okay, so this is the height of the cone, this dotted line. This right here, the side of the cone, that's my slant height. So we use the slant height for surface area. We will actually use the height for volume whenever we learn the volume formula. So that's kind of the difference between the two. That's why we have to use a different symbol than just H there. Okay, so we're going to write out our formula. We got 3.14. My radius is 6. My slant height is 6.2. 3.14. And then my radius is 6, so I got a square 6. So if I type this all in, 3.14 times 6 times 6.2 plus 0.14 times 6 squared equals 229.8 inches squared. So do that a couple times till you get that in your calculator. And that's it today. Really nothing different from yesterday, just a different formula. So let's look at another one. We'll draw it this way now. So all the way across, it's 25 meters. And then 20 meters will be my slant height. Okay, so before we even get started on this one, you need to recognize that this is not my radius. 25 is not my radius. I have to divide 25 by 2, and 12.5 would be my radius. Let's circle that. Okay, so try to do this on your own. I'll kind of do it quietly. Okay, so that should be your equation. Make sure you have the radius in the right spots and your slant height. Now type it in. And that should be what you get for your answer on that one. If you didn't get that, try it one more time. All right, we have a word problem. I've already written this out. TP has a radius of 5 feet and a slant height of 12 feet. Find the surface area. Okay, if we are talking about a TP, what part of the TP is missing? The bottom part, the circle. It's just the floor. You don't have a floor in your TP. It's just the dirt floor. So we are just doing the lateral area. So we just do the first part of our equation. My radius is 5. My slant height is 12. If I type that in, I should get this number. Okay. And that's actually it for the notes, but there are some tricky ones on your homework. So either write this down on the back of your notes or something, because the homework is on Go Formative. But number 4 is the first tricky one. So if you want to go ahead and go to Go Formative, you can kind of just solve these as we go. Number 4, it tells you the area of your circle, which is awesome because now instead of having to figure that out, I just know it's 28.3. I know this is 3.14. Do I know what my radius is? No, my radius is just r. My slant height is 6. So this is great that it tells us the area. However, we don't know the radius. So we have to take this part right here and set them equal to each other and figure out what r is. So I'm going to do that up here. So pi r squared equals 28.3. Okay, we got to get r by itself. So we're going to divide by pi. That leaves r squared there. If you take 28.3 divided by 3.14, you get 9.0, blah, 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 blah. So we're just going to round that to be 9. So if I square root 9 now, or what number times itself equals 9, we know my radius is 3. So now you can go back in. Instead of r right there, we can put a 3. Okay, then you can just calculate 3.14 times 3 times 6 plus 28.3, and you got your area for that one. Okay, you can go and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and move on to 6, so this video is not forever long. On 6, I'm going to write my equation out. Okay, we know pi is 3.14. It gives us a radius of 5. That's awesome. However, 12 is not my slant height. 12 is the height. So we have to figure out what that is. Well, if you guys look at this, what kind of triangle do I have right here? I have a right triangle. So the slant height is also the what on the right triangle? It's my hypotenuse. So if I know both of my legs and I'm trying to find my hypotenuse, what am I going to do with 12 and 5? I'm going to square them and add them. So if you square them and add them, you get 169. But that does not make sense for that to be 169 centimeters. So don't forget that you have to square root that. So if you square root that, you get 13. So my slant height is actually 13. Plus, you got 3.14. Oh my goodness. And then my radius is 5 squared. Okay, a lot of people, whenever I did this earlier today, were freaking out because they're like, where's 12 in my equation? 12's nowhere because it's the height and there's no h anywhere in your equation. So don't worry about not having a 12 there. Okay, the last one to worry about here is this one. Let me write out my equation. A cone has a lateral surface area of 62.8 square yards. So that means this part right here is 62.8. If the slant height is 2, so I'm going to go and say, hey, that's 2. What's the total surface area for the cone? So guess what I don't know yet again? The radius. So this time I'm going to put this section of my equation equal to each other. So I have pi RL equals 62.8. We know pi is 3.14. We don't know what r is. We know L is 2 because that's my slant height. So the first thing I would do is I would go ahead and multiply those two together. So 3.14 times 2. So we got 6.28 r equals 62.8. So now we get r by itself. So we divide. So r equals 10. So now I'm going to rewrite my whole equation here so that way it's not confusing. My slant height is still 2. I don't know why I put equals plus 3.14. My radius is 10 squared. So that is what you'll be putting in your calculator for this one. All right, that is it for the homework help.